Wait a minute. Am I gonna destroy my desk? Duh. That's why it looks like that. I was like, why are these pieces so different from each other? That's okay. That's why we have a seam ripper.
You can't put that on the internet.
I have two closed sides of a dress. No. That's the camera, I'm filming it.
I thought it was not. I thought you will use this like a picture.
Okay, today we're doing something a little bit different and we're gonna sew this dress that I've been putting off forever and ever. We might not get through the whole thing in this video, but we're gonna try. This is gonna be my first garment sewing project, not at Craftcation, so it'll be the first one I'm doing on my own. I'm excited about it, but I'm also nervous. If I'm being completely honest with you, I've kind of been putting this project off because sewing and embroidery has been kind of scary to me, and I tried to do an embroidery project earlier this week, and I seriously thought I was gonna break my machine. I actually was almost by my own sewing needle because I was embroidering and I messed it up somehow. I think I had the wrong hoop size, or I didn't like tell it what hoop size I was using, and the needle hit the side of the carriage, snapped in half, and flew over my shoulder. And I saw my life flash before my eyes. So that was a little scary. And in general, sewing and embroidery, it's just not something that comes naturally to me. Like reading the patterns is always challenging for me, but I'm trying to push myself outside of my comfort zone and practice what I preach, which is that it doesn't have to be perfect for it to be a good creative outlet, and it's really more about the process than anything else. We're gonna practice what we preach today. We're gonna try to make this dress. Let me show you what I've already done. The pattern. Can you see the whole thing? Oh, you can see a lot of it. So as you can see, I printed it out and taped it together, and that took a full like 2 hours. But now that part's done. And so now I have to cut out my fabric based off of this pattern. So we're gonna do that. I also got these cute pins. They are from Amazon, and they're little hearts, which I think is super cute. So I'm gonna use those today. Let me show you really quickly what the dress is gonna look like. This is what she's gonna look like when we're all done. I need to fold it, but I need to make sure I don't include this part, which I think is called the selvage. Okay. Okay. As it turns out, I'm a doofus. I have to cut out my size. Duh. I've been watching America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders on my computer right here while I'm working away. So I'm going to turn on this episode. No spoilers, but this is the end of season 2 and there's a lot I need to know. So I'm gonna do that while I cut this out, and then I will come back. Okay, I just finished cutting everything. Or cutting my pattern, I should say. Let's start pinning. Wait a minute. Am I gonna destroy my desk? Cricut mat is about to come in handy. I'm gonna use the backside of my Cricut mat and just slide it under there. Let's cut out this whole piece, and then I'm probably going to let you guys go for a minute and cut the rest of my pieces, and then I can come back once I have all the pieces. But I don't think you wanna hang out for this entire process. We did it! We cut our first piece. Okay, now I'm gonna cut the rest of the pieces, and then I will come back and I'll show you all the pieces cut. You can help. Do you wanna help? Okay.
I want to do this part.
Okay, well, you will just watch out real quick because let's get everything set up first and then you can do it, okay? Oh, we wanna line up our edge here.
What was that?
Okay, so sweetie, this is what we do. Are you watching? So we wanna line up our pattern with the fold line right here, and then stick it through, and then you point it back and stick it back through so it sticks right onto the pattern.
Time for me.
Spot right here.
Oh.
Oh,
Ouch, ouch, ouch.
it's okay, it happens. Look, you just don't want to touch the pointy end. You want to touch the heart.
I'm gonna try by myself.
All right.
This one.
Right at the edge. Let me see, Hallie. Can I see, sweetie? Oh, wow. Did you get through the fabric? Hallie, that's perfect, actually. Okay, I just finished cutting everything, and I can confirm one thing I already know I want to work on for next time is being more efficient with my fabric, because I have this nice section, but then I have all these just, it's quite wasteful, and fabric is not cheap. So I think I'm gonna cut this into like usable scraps before I move on to the next step. But next time I definitely wanna think about it a little bit more in advance and make sure that I'm really maximizing the fabric that I buy so I don't end up with this again. But here are all of our pieces. We've got 8 straps, 4 pocket linings, 2 regular lining pieces, and then 2 large self pieces, or the actual dress. So now we're ready to start reading the directions and piecing it together. I just finished cutting out all the pieces. They are behind me on my desk, and I'm going to hang out with the kids for a little bit and then put them down to bed. And then after they go to sleep, we'll start sewing everything together. And hopefully this will be a one-day project, but TBD. Okay, the kids are kind of asleep. They're upstairs and they're supposed to be almost asleep, but they're probably gonna fight it for about 20 more minutes. So I'm hoping to go ahead and get started on this. So I'm always afraid these are gonna pop out at me. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get started on the sewing part of this project. So I have my 8 shoulder straps. And the first thing we need to do with these is sew them together. We're gonna sew down both long ends and leave this straight edge open so that at the end we can flip it right side in. Okay, we're just gonna, the stripes on this though really help. Slow and steady wins the race on this one. I'm not trying to be quick. I ain't trying to win no races today. Alrighty, I'm gonna finish sewing this, turn it right side in, and then I'll do the rest of them off camera because I don't think you need to see me do this 4 times on the struggle bus. I think I'm just gonna like stuff it down in there and then use the force of it to like push it through. This does not seem right. Figured out the issue thanks to Mackenzie's help. I needed to backstitch, and then I just had to reinforce a part where I didn't give it enough seam allowance, so it was coming apart. But now we're nice and strong, so now we're gonna try flipping it. Okay, now I'm gonna try to flip it right side in. Hopefully we have done a good seam allowance and reinforced it enough that it's not gonna rip this time. I'm still scared though. Okay, also I'm not sure how people are turning these inside out because it's so long. I feel like I need like a chopstick.
Some tube of some kind.
A vinyl roll. We can use a vinyl roll for this. Okay, we're gonna feed it down in there per Mackenzie's idea. So now we're gonna roll it over the top.
Because then you should just be able to pull on it. Yeah. You can't put that on the internet. It's scrunchies.
Did it! I did it! Okay, so now I'm gonna do the other 3 pairs and I'll be back. All 4 straps are officially complete. Can confirm that on that first one, I was not giving it enough seam allowance, which if you are a beginner sewer, sewist, sewer, seamstress, sewer, like me, we'll just stick with that. What that means is if you're sewing too close to like the edge of the fabric, it's just easy for it to come undone and rip. So I just like edged it in a little bit, reran the stitch, and then I made sure to back stitch, which is literally what it sounds like. You stitch forward and then you stitch back to like reinforce the edges. So we did that. We flipped it inside out using our vinyl roll. Many giggles ensued. And now we have 4 identical straps with these little like pointy-ish edges. Now, this one is the best looking one. That's kind of what it's supposed to look like. Some of these are a little, these are a little wonkier, but that's okay. No one's looking that close. The next step is to sew the pockets to the self, which is basically like the main part of the dress. But it is 9:23 and my brain has reached its end. So we are going to pack up for the night. We have a showing for the house tomorrow, so pray that somebody wants to buy our house. That has been very stressful. But I'm gonna clean everything up tonight, hide this and act like I don't live in my own house, do a little cleaning, and then tomorrow morning, I might try to do the pockets before we have our showing, which is at 11:30, but it also could be after. So I will see you guys tomorrow and we'll finish this project then. Hopefully. It's a new day. We are back at it. This is my little pocket tutorial that came with my pattern. It's actually really good and descriptive. I'm just, I think, struggling to visualize, I guess, what I'm actually doing with these pockets. So I'm doing the first part, which is the easiest. You're supposed to use a serger to do the edges, but then after a little Googling, I found that my brother SE1900 has what's called an overcast stitch, which is basically supposed to mimic a serger. And all a serger is, to my knowledge, is it just prevents the fabric from like degrading and fraying over time. So it's like really sewing it off, and a straight stitch won't work for that. So I've already done one. You can't really see it very well. So I'm gonna take you along with me while I do the other ones. I'll probably just do one on camera and then we'll go straight to the next step, which is gonna be actually adhering the pocket to the self or the dress. So let's do it. Done our overcast stitch on all of our pockets. They are a little bit, like I think I didn't lay the fabric flat enough, so there's like some pulling, but I'm confident that it'll be fine. So now the next step says, with right sides facing each other and notches aligned, match one pocket to the side seam of the front of the skirt pin and stitch at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. What? I think I was supposed to make notches on the self pieces. So I'm gonna pull the pattern back out and maybe make some notches that I forgot to make. I'm gonna move her out of the way for just a second. There were notches on the pattern. So I laid the dress back down on the pattern and I just made little notches. I don't know if you can see them on here, but I made them with just a pen. So now it says with right sides facing each other. So that's this. So let's line up our notches here. Now we're gonna pin it. It says pin, match one pocket to the side seam of the front of the skirt, pin and stitch at a 1/2 inch seam allowance, leaving a 1/2 inch unstitched. Lord have mercy. She's pinned. With a 1/2 inch seam allowance, leaving a 1/2 inch unstitched. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this pin in to about a 1/2 inch. And then I'll just know to basically sew like between the pins. Look at me, always thinking. This feels like the first like big thing that I'm doing on this dress for some reason. I don't know, it just feels, the fear is real, but that's okay. We're gonna go nice and slow. These pins out. So now we have like our little pocket there, but we've left a 1/2 inch on the ends. I did it backwards. So I was supposed to stitch it facing in towards the dress, not away. That's okay. That's why we have a seam ripper. Honestly, it kind of feels like a rite of passage to have to use the seam ripper. It helped me a lot. I actually learned this in Pilates because they use it as a cue. An inch is a paper clip. So when I'm thinking about seam allowance, I feel like that kind of helps me like visualize it. Now it's right. Okay, so we just sewed here and we left our 1/2 inch. Now you flip it over, make sure that's nice and flat. And then you do a seam like all the way down, I believe. Hold on. Press pocket away from the skirt. Right sides of both pieces are now facing up. Top stitch along the pocket seam line. Repeat for the back. We can do this. Now we're gonna come in and do that top line. We just need to follow that seam. So I'm just gonna go slow and steady all the way down. I think that's correct. We just have to repeat it for the other side. Fold this back over itself here. I wanna make sure these pockets are like perfectly aligned. And then we're gonna flip it and sew right along that seam. And ideally we make a real pocket. We have pocket 1, pocket 2, but these are actually the same pocket. We're about to sew them together. So now place front skirt on top of back skirt with the right sides facing each other. With the right sides facing each other. So that would be like this. Did we do it? Did we make a pocket? Surely I did not just do that. Okay. Okay. Wait, I gotta read these directions. So we have now basically half of the dress. And look at that. That is a pocket. We're actually gonna work on the lining right now. This is like the lining piece. So I don't know why. I guess that's right, but anyways, it just looks weird, but whatever. So I need to figure out my right side and wrong side. I need to basically sew the side seams on this and then flip it right side in. Let's see, hold on. Sew lining pieces together at side seams with right sides facing each other. So, all right, we're just gonna pin both sides so nothing moves. We're gonna sew it and then we're gonna flip it right side in. So we've pinned it together. It's because one is the back and one is the front. Duh, that's why it looks like that. I was like, why are these pieces so different from each other? So now we're gonna turn that right. I could have done that way easier because the straps are undone. All right, so now we have our lining piece. Ta-da! Okay, that was easy. Insert the lining piece inside the dress so that the back panels are facing each other and the front panels are facing each other. Sew at the armholes and the neckline, but not the shoulder straps. Something is not right. Wait a minute. I have two closed sides of a dress. No. I don't know. I don't know why I thought this was the right thing to do, but back on the pocket step, I was like lining up my pockets and sewing them, and I did it so well, but it like wasn't matching up perfectly and I couldn't figure out why. It's because I literally sewed the back of the dress together and the front of the dress together instead of sewing. So now the middle of my back has a pocket and the middle of my front has a pocket. I'm going to seam rip this out, seam rip that out, and stitch these pockets back on. I'm gonna fix the pockets and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna pick up where we left off. I cannot believe I did that. Like now that I'm looking at it, it makes no sense. Like why did I think that was right? And all the while I was like turning my dress right side in and being like, oh, look at these pockets, not thinking about the fact that I had a tube of a dress that was half the size of my body. And two of them, no less. You saw me repinning the dress correctly, and I just redid that side seam kind of all the way around the pocket and down on both sides. It actually wasn't as bad as I thought to seam rip it. I thought I was gonna have to start all over on the pockets, but where they were connected, like each pocket to the side of the dress was fine. It was just like how they connected to each other was wrong, if that makes sense. So we fixed that. So now we're ready to do this part. So let me lay it back out. So this is a wrong side out, which is how it's supposed to be. And then our lining is right side in, how it's supposed to be. And we're supposed to have the front facing the front and the back facing the back. We're gonna basically line it up at the straps. I think it's gonna be easier to go in through the top. So we're gonna do that. Just tuck it in.
It's a pocket.
That is a pocket.
I thought it wasn't because it doesn't have any fangs.
Well, it's inside out right now.
Oh.
That's the camera, I'm filming it.
I thought it was not. I thought you were using this like a picture.
Now we're just going to pin. And then we're basically going to sew the neckline and the armholes. We are pinned, let's go sew. We've got our pieces here. So we're sewing the neck hole and the armpits. Okay. I'm gonna take the pins out of that part. I think I should do all of one side, and then I'll come back and do the other side. So now those pins can come out. What about us? What about everything we've been through? What about you? So now those ones can come out. So now the other side. Okie dokie. Let's make sure everything looks right. Oh my gosh, I thought I sewed something together that wasn't supposed to be sewed together. So now we basically put the straps down in these little holes that we've made. So we're gonna get our straps, align the raw edges, stick it down in there, align the edge, and literally just straight stitch right across that bad boy. Just like that. So now I'm going to do the other three and then I'll come back. She's done. I forgot to film the clip of me turning it inside out, but that was the very last step, was turning it inside out. I did discover that I did the straps a little bit wrong and ended up having to seam rip them and fix it. But it was just that I had the raw edges lined up, like I needed to let the strap pass all the way through the little tube first, if that makes sense. But we're very proud. We did it. She's complete and we're wearing it. So I will give you a full look at her. She's definitely not one I'll probably wear to church tomorrow. The back is a bit low and she's a little bit shorter than I probably would like for church, but I will be wearing her in the summer and I love the little tie straps. And that is a first garment done that I did mostly by myself. I had a little help from my friend Mackenzie, but I didn't have a whole room of teachers at Craftcation, so I'm very proud. If you want more sewing content, let me know in the comments below. I probably will be doing more just because I want to share more of my journey and I want to share more about crafts that I am not like really good at, because I think that's fun too, to kind of come along the journey with me as I learn how to sew. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And with that, let me show you the final product.